Hello and welcome to, I believe, video number 9. I've actually been enjoying doing these things. Not been getting a lot of views or likes or comments or anything, but to be honest, it's been enjoyable. Also in making these videos, it's kind of fun to at least have a record of these backstories and heroes and stuff like that. So thanks for tuning in. So let's get into the next hero. So again, this next hero, his name's changed a little bit and his costume and design has changed a little bit as well. But then this guy is a hero, and his name was Magnetic Man. And so once again, a super corny 1950s 40s grade superhero name, like it very reminiscent of the golden age of comic books. The kind of the corny costume with his face mask looking like a magnet, and then has like a little magnet glued to his forehead and stuff like that. But again, these were super quick little doodles and stuff like that. But he has definitely changed, and his design has changed quite a bit as well. So let's get into it. So yeah, with his design, I had actually redesigned this character about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. I think it was a little before 2020. I had kind of just was like, yeah. With a lot of these characters, I had made numerous attempts at kind of redesigning them and stuff, but never really fully committed as I am now. But again, I had redesigned him a little bit, and it was I designed him more in the idea that his costume was a necessity for him to better control his abilities, and so he'd wear like this full kind of dark red magenta power suit that would allow him to better control his abilities over the magnetic field or magnetism. So yeah, and so you can see I kind of got rid of the 1940s superhero boots and the weird thing on his head. I kind of, in subtle ways, left the magnet glued on the top of his head. As you can kind of see, there's a bit of a U on the top of his head. So kind of kept some of the original design aesthetics. But some of the other things that I really liked was incorporating his ability to manipulate metal and, forming metal or whatever type of material to his body as like a form of armor or something like that. So here in this particular illustration, I've got him kind of forming and manipulating metal to be like armor molding to his body as he's getting ready to go into battle. So, but yeah, so as you can see, it looks like it's his skin, but it's just a full body suit that he wears to help him control his abilities. And as you can see, I kind of drew in some lines to help communicate, that it's a technology based suit. And then again, just coloring in the metal here that he's morphing to the rest of his body. But yeah, fun. It was, and I changed his name. He went from Magnetic Man to Alloy. So, and it just kind of was a little bit better to his overall backstory that I've kind of altered a little bit. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the finalized. So here is the finalized drawing. So this is once again Alloy, formerly known as Magnetic Man. But let's get into his backstory. And the interesting thing is, like, for a lot of these doodles that I've done, 11 years ago, they really didn't have much of a backstory. It was mainly just a challenge to create a hero, give him some basic powers, do a quick doodle, and then, get on with my day. So a lot of them didn't have backstories. And so for a majority of these guys, this is like the first time they're getting any kind of backstory treatment. So, and he is one of them. But yeah, his name is Alloy. So his backstory. Derek Deers, a geologist working for the Department of Land Management and Conservation in New Mexico, stumbled upon a discovery that would change his life forever. While on a survey with several colleagues, he found a massive rock shard glowing with incandescent rainbow light. The shard measured roughly 2.5 feet long, but weighed only a few ounces. When Derek touched it, a powerful surge of energy blasted him nearly 40 feet through the air, knocking him unconscious. He later awoke in a hospital, surrounded by nondescript government agents, demanding to know where he had found the shard. After giving them nothing and being discharged from the hospital, Derek soon began to notice strange changes in his body, particularly in his magnetic field. Using his scientific knowledge and with the help from Bot Boy, he learned to harness these new abilities, taking on the name Magnetic Man and later refining it to Alloy. So again, his real name is Derek Deers. He's roughly 6 foot 1 inch tall and weighs about 205 pounds. So an average male. But his powers and abilities. So Alloy's powers and abilities stem from an extraordinary mutation of his body's natural magnetic field. Through extensive testing, he discovered that with intense focus, he could manipulate the magnetic fields of surrounding solid elements using his own magnetic field. Realizing the potential of this power, Alloy trained both his mind and his body to gain greater control. However, the strain from using his abilities in battle often proved overwhelming. They would leave him super exhausted after a fight. And so, seeking a solution, he turned once again to Bot Boy, who engineered a specialized suit that amplifies his powers with little effort on his part. With this suit, Alloy can now reshape solid materials at will, forming armor, weapons, projectiles, and virtually anything he can imagine. He can tear objects apart and reform them with precision. And by manipulating his personal magnetic field against the Earth's magnetic field, he can even fly. So, or kind of hover. But anyway, so yeah, that is Alloy. As we can see here, he's a bit stronger, or quite a bit stronger than like a normal human being. But, a lot of that he can achieve by, encasing his entire body in this metal. He can amplify his strength via that. And then stamina, with the help of the suit that Bot Boy engineered for him, his stamina is a lot better than it was. And then like projectiles, he's got pretty significant ability to project not only like magnetic field blasts that can alter metals and other elements, but also just creating like a steel ball and pushing it somewhere. So he's intelligent. He's obviously a leading scientist in his area of expertise and stuff like that. He's got the normal speed of a human being, although he can use his, I guess his speed here is a bit above average. He's ranked, in kind of the hero league. He's above an Olympian. An Olympian would be like a human being in their peak performance, whereas he's kind of leaning more into the not superhero, but just hero category, where he's a bit better just as a result of him being able to manipulate his magnetic field. And then obviously his durability, with the ability to form elements and metals and all that kind of stuff around his body. He can literally become far more durable than just his normal organic body. But anyway, so that is Alloy. And once again, not quite as much of a change but that the previous video had with the Tectonic Titan, but again, there was some significant character design changes that I made with him, just because I finally had an opportunity to develop out his backstory a little more. But anywho, we will. That's Alloy, and we'll catch you in the next video.